there's one thing you can do that'll increase your sex drive, improve the quality of your sex, and give you better orgasms. It's exercise. And specifically, it's lifting weights. Studies show that lifting weights properly gives you more sex drive, gives you better sex, and improves the quality of your orgasms.
You had to throw orgasms in there.
Well, that's important.
Doug was so okay with your intro until you went that way.
Hey, you know what? It's
What's
important,
wrong with orgasms?
especially for women, because the studies show that that women experience better and more frequent orgasms, because this can be an issue. More commonly in women where they maybe have trouble achieving orgasm.
I don't feel like you're qualified to talk about this.
Wow, it's true.
You have to have given someone an orgasm first before you could talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But tell us, Professor.
No, well, the
how
studies,
do we do this?
The studies are pretty clear. Now, what's interesting about this is studies will also show that
visuals.
too much exercise, in particular, too much endurance-based exercise, long-distance running, cycling, overdone does the opposite. But appropriate exercise improves everything, and then strength training has been shown to do to be the most effective with all of these things.
All kidding aside, you know that I think I've talked off air with you guys a little bit about this, but when I actually reduced the volume of training that I was doing, I noticed a difference in my sex drive. It was one of the things that I noticed the most. Like
it was more appropriate.
Yeah. It just I think that one of the things that we tend to do as fitness enthusiasts is we tend to overreach probably more because we like to work out.
Totally.
And when I had scaled back my training, one of the things that was like the key, aside from seeing strength go up and my joints feeling better, one of the other indicators was I also noticed like libido, sex drive. I noticed that I had more desire to do that and felt better from scaling back on my training. I thought that was a really interesting thing that I didn't go into it with that intention, right? It wasn't like, I want to scale back because
I remember, I mean, way back, and this became quite commonplace, but as a trainer, I did not expect this to happen, but especially when I trained older people over the age of like, let's say 65, is they would always come to me, and this would be like, I don't know, 3-4 weeks into training, it's like a month, and they'd say, so I remember one lady in particular. She was
Things
like,
are happening.
Yeah, she's like, Sal, so what are some of the effects of exercise? And I'm, you get stronger, you feel better, you burn body fat. She's like, are there any other effects? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, what do you mean? She goes, well, in the bedroom. And I started laughing. I'm like, you notice differences? She's like, oh yeah, and she used the word Randy. I have much more Randy,
Wow.
She's obviously older.
You just dated her, huh?
I know.
Randy.
But that became commonplace. I would have, and I never brought it up. I never tell clients, hey, we're going to make you horny.
Yeah.
It was something that they would come to me and say that they would notice improvements on their own, that they would notice these changes in how they felt.
Happy, hungry, and horny.
Where is the origin of Randy, Justin?
Randy?
I feel like that's something like you. I feel like you and your people would use. Like
my people?
Yeah.
His people.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who are Justin's people?
White people?
Mountain Cholos?
Yeah. We get Randy.
Yeah, where's the origin, Doug, of Randy? Did you ever use Randy?
No, I can't say I have, but it's a good word, actually.
It is a good word. I like it. That's why I'm like, where? I mean, any guesses or where something like that would come from? Do you think it has like a sitcom tie or something like that? Do you think it has something?
Just one real thirsty guy named Randy.
Well, I was just gonna say that.
That's why I thought a sitcom. Like maybe it's like an old sitcom and a guy that was.
Randy's like, calm down. Randy.
What do you got, Doug? What do you got?
It's saying it probably originated with an old Dutch word, ranten, meaning to rave or talk foolishly. I don't understand why they put that, but
to rave.
Yeah,
there's Justin Raven again.
Man, I thought there would be such a better explanation.
I think so. I'm looking for a better one.
Yeah.
Well, so there's a few different ways that it's speculated or observed, I should say, actually, because they've observed this, that exercise does this. One of them is it stimulates the sympathetic nervous system. So like dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, all of these play a role in sex drive. In fact, they play more of a role in sex drive than even testosterone. Now, testosterone plays a big role when it's really low, but when it's within range, it's the sympathetic nervous system that plays the biggest role in sex drive. And that's why some drugs, for example, have been known, like people will use them for sex and stuff.
Well, I imagine, just the closer you are to balanced, in all directions there, stress, hormones, everything else, like you're going to be more likely to feel those feelings of sexual drive.
Yeah. There's also increased circulation everywhere. So circulation to the genitals is real important, obviously for erections, but also women also experience, what you could be said is kind of like almost like an erection themselves, where they get blood
Lady
flow
boners. We used
Yeah.
to call it that. Yeah.
What? What do you mean we?
You guys don't remember a
Oh,
long
lady
time
boners.
ago on the podcast, we had like a whole
Yeah.
hashtag lady boner.
That's right.
It was
that's
a
right.
thing.
So
How
circulation-
much does strength training, or let's say a single training session, improve blood flow and blood circulation?
Oh wow, that's a great. I don't know if one. I know it will,
Oh, I think it will.
but I know that long term. I know the studies on long term.
And I wonder if is it kind of like a bell curve, like as you start to the first session already starts to increase blood flow, and then it gets better, and then at one point it has to like peak out, it has to optimize, and then it probably
I know
flattens out maybe.
I know there's long term adaptations because as muscles get bigger, you need more capillaries, more blood flow, so you end up building more of that capacity. I know that,
and I imagine it's like any other system that the more you train it, the more it'll adapt and more efficient it will become.
Well, think about the pump, right? So when you're working out and then you get a pump in the muscle, that is blood flow. That's improved blood flow, and you don't necessarily get a pump your first few workouts. In fact, one of the signs that your muscle is starting to develop is when you first start to get that pump. Like you'll train somebody with really, let's say underdeveloped shoulders, and they do an exercise and they'll feel the burn and everything. But I know like 4, 5, 6 weeks later when they're like, oh my God, they're really tight. Like I know, like, okay.
Yeah.
So the capacity for blood flow, I think improves as well. But then there's also body image, when you feel better about yourself, sex drive goes up. And then I read this article on strength training in particular for women because there's this interesting phenomenon with women where if they feel strong and secure, then their sex drive tends to increase. So safety is a very important factor in libido in women. And because strength training in particular improves feelings of strength and security, that may be one of the other reasons why strength training in particular tends to have the best effect on libido.
Interesting.
But evolutionarily speaking, it makes sense, right? If you're unhealthy, your body's like, we're not going to have you procreate because then you're going to have to support another mouth, and you're obviously barely supporting yourself and not doing very well. And then when you improve your health, and it's the opposite. Your body's like, you're healthy, we need more of you. Go procreate.
You're a lot more likely to do it with the lights on.
Yeah,
It's another benefit.
That's the other one.